Yo bar, what's up and what's happening? And welcome back to It's the Yo Bar series with me, Chris Harding. And today I wanted to share a little bit of a client story with you. And I think that most of you will be able to relate to this problem also. My client story is very basic. So the individual, he is pre-diabetic and he also has a high cholesterol reading. And his question to me was, why is it so difficult to lose weight? To just give you a very brief background of this individual, he has got quite a lot of weight and we have been working hard to try to lower his weight through better eating, better habits, and a personalized program. However, the question sticks in my head, why is it so difficult for people to lose weight? Now, if you zoom out for a second and have a look at a much bigger picture, it will tell you quite a lot of information. So the word epidemiology basically means the study of anything that's to do with mass population, health and well-being. So an example of a study of epidemiology would be something like, let's say, sports and recreation. We know that if people exercise more, they tend to be generally more healthy. They tend to have less illness and they tend to be steering themselves away from metabolic problems because the condition of their cardiovascular system is better because they've taken on more activity or regular exercise. And also there tends to be some general weight loss there as well. So we can look at those studies and say, okay, if I have an individual person and they don't go to the gym and they don't do any resistance training whatsoever, and then I start them on a 12-week program of some light resistance training and then increment that training up until they start to get stronger and stronger, by the 12th week, when we do a test from week 1 and we do a test at the end of week 12, you can generally say that that individual should be more mobile, should have more strength, just general strength, and possibly feel better as well, depending on the individual and also, of course, depending on the diet. Which brings me to my next point. When epidemiology is applied to diets, it doesn't work. And the reason why it doesn't work is because humans just will not stick to the plan. And that's something that I very much have to tackle all the time in my coaching. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is that, for example, if you saw a diet in your local newspaper or even your national newspaper, and it's a supplement that you pull out of the Sunday Times, for example, and it's a diet that you sort of think, oh, you know, that seems like a good way to lose weight and I'll try and do that. And let's say you stick to it for 3 to 4 weeks and you try to, you know, stick to it as religiously as possible. It's not built for you. That diet that you've pulled out of the Sunday Times and you've read the supplement and you follow the instructions, it's not built for you. The food that they're suggesting isn't the food that you normally eat. And the way it's constructed, the way that the diet is designed, isn't in agreement or alignment with you. For example, if you've got a very busy lifestyle, which most of us have, if you've got kids, family commitments, work commitments, social commitments, and everything else that goes into life, that diet doesn't take that into account at all. And that's why people fall off the bandwagon so easily. They fall off because it actually doesn't suit them. And although they have every intention to lose weight and every intention to try and, make a change for the positive, it's just not going to work ever. And so when you look at diets in general, or you look at the epidemiology of diets, it never works. If you look at every single diet that's ever been taken on, they work for some, and maybe there are a percentage of them that can stick to that diet, but that's because it suits them. So for example, my type of eating is more based around fats, proteins, and vegetables. I don't consume any carbohydrates such as bread, rice, and pasta because I've manipulated my diet over the years to suit my macronutrients and calorie needs, which means I can maintain sort of a sub 15% body fat year round, which I'm very happy with. However, when I'm dealing with clients who've got type 2 diabetes or high cholesterol, it's often their lifestyle and their diet is the reason as to why they've got there in the first place. So let's zoom back in onto that individual client that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. What are his conditions? So, as I said, he's pre-diabetic, so he's got high blood sugar. He's also got high cholesterol, and so there are things that he wants to address. Now, when he first started with me, his diet was very poor. His diet was full of processed foods, and he didn't really have any idea how much food he was intaking and how much food he actually really needed. So there are things that we had to begin to address. Here lies the problem. When someone has been consuming more highly processed food, a lot of studies have shown, studies of epidemiology, but a lot of studies have shown that people who eat more processed food are actually going to find it harder to lose weight, and there are two reasons for that. The first reason is that if you eat more highly processed food, quite literally, it's going to destroy the gut bacteria inside your microbiome. That's the first thing. The second thing is that if you are overweight, and you've got pre-diabetes and you've got high blood pressure and you've got high cholesterol, all of those things are pretty much telling someone like myself, who's a nutrition coach, that you've got a metabolic problem. You've got a metabolic disease. Type 2 diabetes is a disease of the metabolism. Cancer is a disease of the metabolism. Dementia is a disease of the metabolism. Cholesterol, atherosclerosis, which is heart attacks and strokes to you and I, are diseases of the metabolism. So you can start to see where the problem lies, is that the food that you choose to eat and the size that you actually are is actually having a massive, a huge problem or a huge strain on your body. Therefore, what do you do to address this problem? Because if you sort of say, okay, epidemiology pretty much proves that diets don't work, what's the best thing for me? The best thing for you to do, in my honest opinion, is to, one, look at the amount of processed food that you actually consume, and can you condense that and turn to whole foods. Two, what I also would suggest you do is that you find someone or possibly something such as an app or a platform where you can have more of a tailor-made specific diet to you. Now, you can do all of this on your own. There are apps such as MyFitnessPal, which can guide you and lead you in the right direction. However, if your calorie intake, for example, was 2,500 calories a day, and that was made up of sort of pizzas, burgers, and chips, that's not going to help you. Those foods, those processed foods, even if you're sticking within the relative calorie amount, those foods aren't going to help you, and they're not going to help you lose weight, and they probably will more likely hinder your opportunity to lose weight just because of eating those foods. However, it's a lot more difficult for the individual that I was focusing there at the beginning of the video to lose weight because he does have a metabolic disease. Therefore, his metabolism simply isn't burning as it should do. My metabolism burns perfectly well because I don't have a metabolic disease. My visceral fat, which is basically organ fat, isn't high. It's quite low, and therefore my organs aren't under extra stress from the poor choices of food and diet that I choose to consume. So those two things there, just by reducing the amount of processed food that you eat, and also addressing the fact that if you do have a metabolic disease such as type 2 diabetes, or even if you feel like you want to lose weight, you have to take into consideration that you may not find it easy to begin with. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to find a diet that does actually work for you, and that can be done even through a coach or a nutritionist such as myself, or someone who wants to guide you. Or you can do it yourself, but you're going to need to be able to do the research behind it to understand exactly what you should be eating. So when I work with my clients, such as the client that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, he gets a tailor-made program for him that he sticks to. And the reason why he sticks to it is because he's agreed to stick to it. But not only that, we write the program with the food that he enjoys eating, the food that he likes, and the recipes that he wants to make. So imagine if you're on a diet and you want to do the diet. Imagine that you're on a diet and you want to eat the food. Imagine you're on a diet and you want to consume those recipes. It's much, much easier. Okay, yes, of course, some days you're going to fall away, some days you'll be, but the majority of the time, you're going to be on a much better path. And also the likelihood of you losing weight is going to be much, much more likely. I hope you're enjoying my content on It's the Yo Bar series. Remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment in the comment section below. If you want to, you can also take my Score app quiz, which is for people who suffer with type 2 diabetes, if you feel that you may need a personal coaching plan. Also, remember to share this video with anyone if you feel that they may benefit from this content. Until next time, be fit, be healthy, and of course, be a boss bar.
It's the Yo Bar series.